And I have with me Pastor Stephen here, and he is a pastor in a small village in a remote location. He is here under tragic circumstances. Sadly, his dad passed away just 2 days ago, and he is on his way to the memorial service right after this meeting. And he himself is struggling with some kidney stones issue, and he's having a surgery soon. Interesting testimony. He comes from a Hindu family, and when he was in 10th grade, it seems there used to be a nurse who used to lead prayer meetings close to where he is. But he and his buddies were always in the process of disrupting the prayer meetings, and he's a troublemaker. And then one day he became very sick, and when he became sick, that lady who was leading the prayer meetings was very patient, even though they did all this, and she came to him and said, "Can I pray for you?" And she prayed for him during the sickness, and that's the time he began to eat right after that, and he was able to be restored back. And then she gave him a tract which said, "Who will deliver you? Who will deliver you?" That's a tract that she gave. And after that, he gave his life to the Lord at that time. But still, he was a devotee, a very strong devotee. His family is all Hindu. So Thursday and Friday nights, he used to go to the temple and do some worship and all that. But in 2000 is when he actually completely surrendered his life to Christ. Then he went to Bible school, did some training. And when he was going through the training, there was a man who used to come to his Bible school from a very, very remote location, from what he says. And apparently in that tribal area, even if people wash their hands, they get sick. That's how horrible it is. There's no roads, nothing can go there. So, but he used to come and ask him, "Why don't you come and join me? They don't know anything about Christ. Why don't you come and help me out in ministry?" So what happened? So he went to that village where his friend invited, the dangerous, deadly village he went to. And he started distributing tracts and helping the people out. But they kind of challenged him as to what kind of guy this is, so he can't do any ministry and all that. But he was led by the Lord, inspired to build a church there. So as a student, he received 2,500 rupees, which is around maybe $50, as a scholarship for his education. So without telling his parents, that scholarship he used to build a small thatched hut as a church in that small village. It took a month. He gave that money to two families, and they built that church there. And he led 25 people to the Lord in that village right away. And started that service. Okay.
ఆ తర్వాత దేవుని మహాకృపను బట్టి అప్పుడు అక్కడ 25 మంది అయిన తర్వాత ప్రభు బల తీసుకోవడం.
So after that he went to another village where he's now a pastor. And he first started off with one old lady as a member. Now he has 37 people in this village, and he's leading a church there.
Recently ఈ మధ్యన ఇంకొక విలేజ్ కూడా ప్రారంభించారు.
Yeah, and they started another village with 10 other people.
Yes. అలా పరిచర్య జరుగుతుంది.
He lives in a remote location. There's no hospitals or anything. He has to come, travel a long way if he has to come. So I'm glad he made it this morning to meet us, and thanks for sharing. Thank you. So he was actually spending time in prayer with the pastor in a small town who said there is that village, there's nobody there, no gospel. So he encouraged him to go there, so that's how we started. So he went to that village.
సావలో సైకిల్ కూడా కొంచెం కష్టమైపోతుంది. అది కూడా లేదు, లేదు. అది బాగా రిపేర్ అయిపోతే దాన్ని
cycle. It doesn't have any transportation or even a bicycle to go. He had one that is completely broken down now. So that's what he shared. So let's see what God does. So he's telling a couple of incidents that have happened in ministry. Where he's working is an extremely radical Hindu militant place. He went to one village on his bicycle with a megaphone in the front and an amplifier at the back. And they beat him up pretty bad and said, "How dare you come to this village? You cannot talk about any other god other than the Hindu gods." So he quietly went back after being beaten, and his congregation in that small village of 10 people said, somebody stopped that man from beating him. Said, "Don't beat, he's a pastor, so it's okay, just leave him alone." So he went back But a few years later, or something, in that village where there were no converts, there were two families who gave their life to the Lord, where he went, and he continues to do ministry in that village. So a man who is persecuted and is still living on the edge, so to speak. It's a very dangerous situation, but he continues to live that way. He said one night he was in a village doing ministry, and on his way back, he was coming on his bicycle very fast, and all of a sudden a man appeared out of the bushes. He was a militant. He's like radical militants who hide in the forest here. They're kind of like the zealots. They're the extreme violent people, very dangerous. They checked his pockets and everything, and then they checked his bag and they found a Bible. And they threatened him that if he doesn't stop converting people, he'll be in big trouble, and they'll send him back to where he belongs. So he was threatened very severely, and he said, Stephen said, if you want to talk, let's talk during the daytime. I'm living in that village, come and let's talk. So that next day or some few days later, a couple of guys, radical militants, appeared at his place in order to threaten him again. So what he did is he declared a fast for his church people. They fasted and prayed for 4 days straight, and after that these guys never appeared again. Right? Yeah, so that's the story. If only we realize what prayer could do, if only we realize what God could do, there's no threat that can stand in the face of the power of God. So praise God that these people are living radical lives in the remotest of locations.